The materials you will be needing is your measuring tape, your paper, and also something to write. So now you want to take your paper and bend it in half. You're going to take your measuring tape and measure 7 inches across your paper, and you're going to draw that out. All right. So now you're going to turn the paper sideways, and you will be drawing out at least 2 inches onto that same paper. You're going to add that on. Then you're going to take your scissors and you're going to cut that out, making a curve at each end. So once you've opened it up, you should be getting something like an oval shape. So once you're done, you're going to be taking your cloth or your material and you're going to be laying it on the table. As you can see, I have a material that is silky. All right, so I'm just going to make sure that it has been folded in half, and I'm going to lay down my paper pattern onto that material. I'm going to be taking my pen and drawing out that pattern onto the cloth. So once I'm finished doing that, I will be cutting it out with my scissors, and I should be getting 2 patterns once I'm finished. So here I have some interfacing. It has been sewn into a material, so it is thick enough for what I want it to do. So I'm just going to take my paper pattern and I'm also going to cut that out to make another pattern. I'm going to be taking my 2 other patterns. I'm going to be placing them the right side inside, and I will be making a stitch. I will be stitching around it and leaving a small hole so that it can open. Once I've finished stitching this part of my cloth, I'm going to take it and turn it inside out. So I'm going to be turning it on the right side now that I'm finished sewing it. Go ahead and subscribe if you have not yet subscribed to the channel, and hit on the notification bell and leave a like on this channel. So you can also iron out the pattern just to make sure that it is smooth. So now I'm going to be taking my interfacing and I will be placing it, putting it inside of my pattern to create the pad for my sleeping eye mask. So you want to make sure that at each end it has been placed properly, pointed properly, and everything is the way you want it to be. And then you will be stitching it across to make sure that it is neat and it is properly locked. So this is how it looks once you have finished. So now I will be taking my cloth, the same cloth. I will be cutting 2 inches, go right across, at least 20 inches long. And this is what it looks like. I'm going to be taking it now and bending it in half. So I will be stitching it from one end to another. I'm using a zigzag stitch for that. I will be taking it now and I will be bending it like that. You can iron it if you want to. I will be making some pleats around my sleeping iPad. So once I'm making the pleats, I will be sewing them the same time on my machine. So this is how they look once I have sewn them around the entire mask. So now I will be drawing out a pattern on my cloth again. As you can see, the cloth is not folded. So once I've done that, I'm going to cut it out. You want to cut 1 inch away from the pattern that you have laid on the table. And then you will be taking it and you will be putting it on top of the pleats that you've just made to make sure that everything looks neat and crispy. So I'm just going to be bending it on the inside like this and sewing it right around until I am finished and I've completed it. This is how it looks once it has been properly done. This is how it looks once it has been completed. It looks really neat and nice. Now I'm going to be measuring at least 17 to 16 inches worth of elastic. This is for the head. I'm going to cut that out and sew it at each end of the sleeping eye mask so that when it goes around the head, it can fit an adult perfectly. All right, if you're doing for a child, you want to measure it smaller than that. So now this is how it looks. You can leave it like that. If you're comfortable, you can go ahead and leave it like that, but I'm going to take it up a notch. I'm going to be taking this weave on thread, which is very strong, and I'm going to be taking a very large needle that I have there, and I will be using these beautiful beads that I have to create a nice little design to add in front of this eye mask. So what I want you to know is, if you have hot glue, you can definitely use that instead to stick them there. So as you can see, I opened up the pleat and I made sure that the thread is on the inside where it cannot be seen, just like that. So I'm going to add the beads in and I'm going to pull the thread out again, and I'm going to be locking the thread and the beads together like so. You want to make sure that you do it as neat as possible. Make sure that the beads cannot just fall out, and you want to make sure that they look extremely beautiful once you have finished sewing them onto your sleeping eye mask. You can go ahead and give your sleeping eye mask whatever design you want to give it. At the end of the day, it's only yours. It's for you to wear, and it is what suits your taste. So as you can see, I am almost finished with that. But what I would advise for you to do, remember, this is just a tutorial so that you can see exactly what I'm doing. But if I were to sew this professionally, I would be using the same color thread that I actually have with the eye mask. So I will be using a red color thread so that it can blend in properly. Alright, so we're finally finished. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel, hit on the notification bell, and leave a like, and I'll see you next time.